Buff Nation, what up? BWB, what's going on? It's your man's Harry Billion. Welcome to TLP Live. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am your host, Harry Billion, and I am here to talk Colorado Buffaloes football. Coach Prime, what's going on with the Buffs? The current state of the Buffaloes football team, America's football team. I laugh because some people will definitely buck at that, at the sound of that. But yes, America's team. We talk about America's team often. What is the current state of America's team? The Colorado Buffaloes. What's going on with the Buffs? Colorado added a pretty nice piece yesterday. Not last night, but more so like yesterday. I want to talk about what that means for Colorado Buffaloes. Colorado Buffaloes and I would say college football as a whole, it's in this weird space right now where we kind of now have to take a back seat to the NFL, and college football now is going through its process of replenishing teams, team members and coaches and transfer portal. We went through the first phase of the transfer portal opening up. We did a rush. We did pretty well. Ole Miss did a little better than we did. We came in second. That second round of the transfer portal, we're looking to make a splash in that second round. But there's a couple of things going on. We still don't have a defensive coordinator, and we still don't have our offensive coordinator. And when I say have, I mean we don't know about them. Not that Coach Prime doesn't know who it's going to be or who it is. Maybe they're still interviewing. Maybe they're not. I am not too sure. But we know that we don't know who they are. How does that affect the overall team as far as recruiting? I think if you are a football fan, you understand what's going on over there at Alabama. And I believe they said that their coach was going to be replaced within 72 hours. So that's how important that is. Because what happens is in recruiting, you're recruiting for specific positions. And depending on what the position is, the fact that we don't have an OC or a DC, it kind of leaves things up in the air for certain recruits, because I believe certain recruits they have the confidence, or they get their confidence from who the coach is going to be. So in today's show, I want to talk a little bit more about what the feeling around Colorado is, not having an OC, not having a DC, or having announced the OC and the DC, unless I missed something overnight, which is definitely possible. I mean, I have all of the tools that I need to keep track of what's going on around the bus, from having connections with writers who write for the sport, keeping track of other things like just having AIs and all type of things that can give me information, that can send me notification about any movement around the Buffs, keeping track of other creators that create in this space. I haven't heard anything about Coach Prime making an announcement for our DC and our OC. So the way that I feel, we need to get moving on those things. I'm not telling Coach Prime what to do, by no means, but the recruits are, they get their confidence, and they'll come based on who they think is going to be the OC or the DC, because they speak highly of them. Just the newest linebacker that we got, the newest defensive, actually not linebacker, but the newest defensive lineman that we got, he said that he was coming because of Coach Sapp. So with that being said, when we know the name of the person, and the students can put a picture to it, or they can do their research, their parents, their former coaches can look into it and say, okay, this guy is pretty solid. You're going to learn a lot from this guy. That's a good pick. Go ahead and secure that. go ahead and commit to Colorado. And it also helps to keep the current commits because like the fact that DJ Lundy left, what transpired? Was it because of the lack of an OC or a DC or just understanding what he left at Florida, wanting to finish his career at Florida State? I don't know what happened, but I know that coaches are important. Recruiting is important. So we're going to delve a little deeper today in recruiting, and we have some conversations about uh, the different levels or the different aspects of recruiting. Whether you recruit heavily from high school and you built those young men up, or you go into the transfer portal, which is your other option. There's no other option because if you're D1 or D2, you have to jump into that transfer portal if you are already a college student. And that's the only way it happens. I don't know if anybody else thinks there's anything else out there. There is nothing else out there. Take it from me because I do this for a living. I have read countless and numbers of articles about the recruiting process of college football. Now, can you go into the neighborhoods like they used to do back in the day to get Eric Bieniemy from the neighborhoods, like Mr. Solomon said? Let's go into the neighborhoods. We can beat Nebraska. Let's go in the neighborhood. Let's go to Compton and let's get the Eric Bieniemys. Let's get this person from the neighborhoods. You can probably plug people from the neighborhoods, but you're going to have to get them enrolled into college. They're going to have to have a transcript. A lot has to happen. So let's just scratch that from the whole recruiting process, and let's just say you have high school and you have the transfer portal. The transfer portal is going to be your free agency recruiting for college football. That's how it works. So they're either going to be enrolled into a high school program, JUCO program, which is junior college, or community college program, or they're going to be at one of these bigger schools and they have to go through that transfer portal. This is how recruiting works for college football. And I'm only give you a little bit more insight because I know that there's a lot of people that kind of like are just out here for the information, but they don't really have any tangible connection with what's going on and why pieces are moving the way that they are moving. So hopefully on this channel, I do a good job of laying it all out for you so that you can have a better understanding of why everything that's going crazy, why it's going that way. All right, so I hope you understand. We're still waiting for one more, which is I think it's in February. We're waiting for one more transfer portal window to open up so that we can do more shopping. College football, the college football games are done now. No more bowl games. The championship game was won by Michigan. It did beat Washington. That's all said and done. Now, families are now doing their homework, trying to find out what's best for their young men, which is either jump into that NFL draft or stay for one more year, or if you are new, which college is best for you to enter. Where do you want to go? It's very important that you choose where you want to go. Now, I know that jumping in and out of the transfer portal, now you have a little bit more leeway as far as, having some type of being able to play, jump into the transfer portal twice. Now you have that leeway to be able to do that, as where before if you transferred like some other transfers that we know, you wouldn't have that opportunity to play in that season because you would have had to sit out because you had transfer prior to that. Okay. So with all of that being said, we're going to delve deep. We're going to dig deep into that today. We're going to talk about the different aspects of Colorado football, where we stand at the transfer. But before I do that, guys, I want to remind you, what's going on with my screen is frozen. Why is my screen frozen? Sorry guys, my screen was frozen for some odd reason. I think my screen froze. For some odd reason, my screen froze. I have no idea how long my screen was frozen. I just I just looked down and just saw that my screen was frozen. That's weird. That is the first time that's happened to me. Well, at least I know it happens. Anyways, okay. Yo, the screen was frozen for 5 minutes. Good cougar moonga. Hope that's not a bad phrase or word for anybody. Wow. Okay, so we're back. I guess I should look down every now and then. But anyways, we're gonna get into the show. We're gonna talk about the addition of Colorado yesterday, but we're gonna go ahead and get into the show. Let me say hello to my guests so far. DC Carson Music, you was in early on. Andre Harris, what's up with you? Baltimore, Maryland's in the house. And Baltimore, choo choo. You know what that means, choo choo. Day Young Index, what up with you? Feel so real. Blessings to you, my brother. Shirley Kimball, how you doing? Kim B, what's up? KMS, what's going on with you? Chanel all day. What up with you? The X-Men, what's up, man? The basement, what's up with you? Dallas, Dallas is in the house, in the building. Timothy Smith, Tim, what's up with you? Hope all is well. Out of my mind, what's up with you? Hope all is well. Everything is coming out of your mind. So that's the explanation you gave us. So we're gonna stick with that. But my screen ain't frozen anymore. So we're gonna go ahead and get going. Is everybody good? We all good? Everybody's your screen's not frozen anymore. Yo Creole, I believe, says, "Are you ready for war?" Yo Creole, what you doing, right, man? We're just getting started. Like, come on. What war? Is something going on that I don't know about? All right. So before we get deep into the show, guys, let's any current buff news. Let me go ahead and give you the current buff news that I have. Let me give you that information, and then you guys can tell me what news that you've heard that I haven't heard about. If there's anything, my AI bots are doing a pretty good job of keeping me abreast of what's going on around the Colorado Buffs. But you know, you guys are on it like crazy. You know what I'm saying? You're on it like white on rice. You feel me? Depending on what type of rice you eat. So you guys keep me, you know what I'm saying? Keep me posted. Y'all, man, what up, man? Y'all keep me posted on what's going on. But let me give you this information, and then you guys can tell me what else is out there. But most of you already have this information, but let's go. Oh, we got a decommitment? He may be going to Auburn. Who's the decommitment? Like, this is just happening? Because we already talked about the decommits. All right, so I don't know who the decommitment. You guys are going to have to tell me who that. Put it in the chat. Let me know what's going on with the decommitment. I don't know exactly. It's a cornerback. Yeah, I think we got the cornerback that's going already, right? Yeah. That cornerback is gone already. Like we got that cornerback. He's he was the guy that had that catch. We talked about it on the show. He had the one catch. He was the guy that intercepted Bo Nix at Oregon. Dang, I don't have the name right now, but we did talk about that cornerback. So that's not news. That's not like today's news. You guys let me know if you found anything on today's news. Let me know. But let me go ahead and share this information for those of you who have to go, but you want to get the current most information that you already don't have. I'm sure a lot of you already have it, but let's go ahead and get to it. All right, so here we go. This information is coming from SI.com. It's Buffs Beat. And this is written by Brian Shibo, I think. I'm reading live, so forgive me if I mess up any words. Your American English is a little difficult for me. Sometimes I don't know read and read. You feel me? Florida A&M's Devin Rispres. Florida A&M's Devin Rispres joining Deion Sanders' staff at Colorado. The Rattlers recruiting expert set to relocate from Tallahassee, Florida to Boulder. All right, people say I look like T-Pain. So if you didn't know that T-Pain meant Tallahassee pain, then welcome to the world. Anyway, T-Pain is from Tallahassee, Florida. People be telling me that I look like T-Pain. Do you see it? I don't see it. Anyways, I hear that all the time. All right. Anyway, so here's the story. In an exciting development for the Colorado Buffaloes, Deion Sanders has hired recruiting ace Devin Rispers away from FAMU, and that's Florida A&M University. Okay, the former. And for those of you who don't know what the A&M sometimes is, I think the A&M is Agricultural and Mechanic University. So somebody tell me out there if you know that that's what that is. It's usually they have agricultural and Mechanics University, and I think A&T was Agricultural Tech. So A&T, because I went to UNC Greensboro, North Carolina Agricultural Tech was right next to us, right next door to us. So if you are from Greensboro and you know about A&T, give me a fire emoji, give me some thumbs up in the chat over there. But I believe for Florida Agricultural and Mechanics University, somebody correct me in the comments or in the chat if it's not agricultural and mechanics. Let me know in the chat. All right. The former high school power running back and Tallahassee native is known for recruiting other standout players. Most impressively, he recruited all SWAC wide receiver Marcus Riley and Kevin Dean Jr. Both are former high school. Excuse me. Both are former local high school juggernauts who would be assets to the FAMU team. This smart and effective style of recruiting will surely be an asset for CU. And then it was made to he said made it to the top of the world. Thank you, Rattler Nation. All right. So I guess their mascot is a rattlesnake. So I think that's what if you see this little thing that they do right here on your screen right there where they're doing that little rattlesnake thing, that's their same thing. Okay. Over the last 2 weeks, Wrist Press have been working around the clock to recruit for the Rattlers after former head coach Willie Simmons left to become the running backs coach at Duke. FAMU has yet to hire a new head coach. Simmons spoke very highly of Rispers on on Twitter, saying, "Deion Sanders, of all the 5 stars you've signed over the past few years, this may be this may be your biggest one yet." Rispers is a if I'm saying Rispers wrong, if I'm saying his name wrong, let me know, please. Is a rock star, and all I can say is everyone better watch out because with you two together, sheesh. That's what's up. FAMU hired Rispers after the height. All right, FAMU hired Rispers after the height of the COVID pandemic in 2022. Before that, he had experience recruiting a high school alma mater. That's Mater Richards in Gadsden County High School. His rise in the college football recruiting world has been meteoric so far. It will be exciting to see. It will be exciting to see what he has in store for Colorado. Rispers has add strengths to the Florida pipeline that Sanders has established at CU. And thank you, Brian, for the article. I appreciate that. So that is the that is the current news for Colorado football. We're going to be adding. So the athletic director at FAMU, that was the first time he was the first person in that position. So I'm only assuming that FAMU created that position, and he was the first person to hold that position. Now, University of Colorado, already have a recruiting department. I don't know the details of the hiring, whether he's going to come and spearhead that department. I don't know, but I'm only going to assume that he's going to play a major part because he's coming out. His resume is athletic. He's a recruiting director. So usually when you do a move like that as a title, as a director, he will come in and play either a similar role or he would play, you know what I'm saying, or he would be directing that department. So being that FAMU actually won the SWAC and and he was instrumental in recruiting the players that were on that team or some of the players that were on that team, because he did come in 2022. So being that he was so instrumental in that, I would say this is a good hire, because in recruiting, several things have to happen in recruiting. It's not enough to just get the players in, but I think one thing that's been irking me is retaining the players. Now I understand that NIL and boosters and poaching and stuff like that is going on, but what's big enough to what is the bigger factor here? I know money is always going to be the thing, and the person that comes in and has the biggest bag is always going to maybe have the poaching power, especially the situation that we had with Jordan Seaton. Now that the whole story is out and other people try to recruit him away from Colorado, and so I'm sure the money played a big part. But I think depending on relationships, I think relationships has to do with that second factor. That would probably be the next X factor in retaining these recruits, because it scares me now, because it's like every time we get a person, I'm not sure anymore if they're going to stay. Anytime we get somebody, I'm like, and it all started with Juwan Johnson, that's at the quarterback turned cornerback, or DB, that's going to be playing for LSU. When we had him, I was like, okay, all is well. Then after that right after the spring game, boom, dude's out of here. I'm like, what? So yeah, I think getting somebody who is well respected, loved by, and has that same thing that Coach Prime has, that relational part, that being relatable part, I think it's important for CU, because we need a way to retain some of these players. I think regardless, if you take money out of it, if it's not money, then it's got to be somebody who can relate to some of these players, because the Florida pipeline, if you look at, we got, DJ Lundy was from Florida State. So that Florida pipeline, it seemed like it's like one of the best pipelines to have in college football, because a lot of really good players come from that southern belt, from that southern pipeline. So it's like that eastern southern boundary is where a lot of good players come from. Georgia, Florida, Alabama, all those other places. I'm not that good with geography, so let me not stop pretending before I come and mess up. Y'all be like, Harry B, what you talking about? But anyways, I'm just saying that southern pipeline is just it's a great place to recruit. And getting somebody who's from there, who knows the kids, that means that they have relationship with the local coaches, is able to come in there and speak their language, whatever they have to do, whether they're playing video games or they're playing Florida games. What game? Alligator, catch the alligator. I don't know what y'all play in Florida. That person understands the local culture and knows how to speak their language. And I think that's important when you come to Colorado, where it's a whole nother world out there. All right, you come in there and you're like, it's a culture shock, basically. Somebody has to be there that makes it seem like it's home. And I think that's where Rispers Devin comes in. All right, so I'm happy with this addition to our recruiting staff, because I just feel like we need to be able to get some of these bigger names, these really big names. We need to be able to get these bigger names, and somebody that has a recruit be able to relate to these young men. Alabama did hire Norvell. They did. Has it been 72 hours already, guys? CU is going to benefit from the hiring of Mike Norvell to Bama, which will allow us to get our CL3 and many others. So is that a confirmation that Mike from Florida State is going to is that a confirmation? Oh, you're asking. Okay, so if somebody can confirm what's going on with that, let me know. Let's see here. All right, guys. So you want to call into the show today? Join TLPlive@gmail.com. The email is right here on your screen. All right. Join TLPlive@gmail.com. A lot of you old school guys that used to come on the show, a lot of you guys that used to email me, you're still emailing me at the old email. I'm not even going to say that old email no more. But email me here. This is the new email right here, guys. I want to talk to you. I want the panel to let's dig deep into the OCDC, our linebackers room, now that we really don't have a linebackers room anymore. And then the fact now that we have a recruiting director from FAMU who seems to know what he's talking about, or who seems to know what he's doing. So join tlplive@gmail.com. That's where you're going to email me. Let me go ahead and get this on the road. All right, I got a couple of people inviting already. So let me go ahead and send that invitation, and we can go ahead and get this show on the road. This is it's Friday, so it is free for all Friday. So just keep in mind, you bring up the topic. I've already started the show off with, those topics, but you bring up the topic. You have something you want to talk about. We are going to talk about it. It is free for all Friday. We are talking LIB all the way. Okay, I see somebody over there, Coach Primey Burner. Okay, LIB, you a LIB person? Coach Primey Burner? That's what's up. Yes, sir. LIB all the way. Liberian Jollof all the way. We the best. We got the best Jollof. We like DJ Khaled. We the best. All right, guys. So I have sent the let me go ahead and invite some of my guests on the panel to come on here so we can talk about what that means. Let's go. I'm sending out the link right now, guys. You guys got to keep in mind, this is free for all Friday. It is already 12 o'clock noon on the East Coast. That means it must be 9:30 a.m. on the West Coast. It's no longer a 3 to 5 hour show. It's only a 2-hour show. So we got to get going. We got to get in here. We got to get out here. Okay. Here we go. Let's have some serious conversations today, because I feel like, it's time for us to get back on track with what's really going on with Colorado football. No, I think Carolina boy, I think Chip Kelly is coming to Colorado. Actually, y'all talking about Mike Norvell. I heard that Mike Norvell might be coming to join Coach Prime. It's either Mike Norvell or Chip Kelly that's coming to Colorado. So somebody check on that. I think that might happen. Yo, you're not gonna troll me today. I'm gonna troll back. Uh-oh. Pele and Kran are the best tribes. Polymath, what are you trying to do here? Don't have no Liberian war. All right. Because I'm Gola and I'm Basa. My mom is Basa. My dad is Gola. Okay? So don't start no Liberian war over here. Don't. This is not Charles Taylor land, okay? This is sports talk. Don't get me going with African politics, okay? We're not going to start no Mandingo Christian war over here. Don't play with me. Oh, my goodness. So Victor Sapp says we are so fast because we run from gators. What is going on today? Are y'all okay out there? Oh, you're Gil, aka Dan. Gil. Oh, you Gil? Okay, my man. That's what's up. Begin. Welcome to the show, my man. Where you been, you ball? Hi, where you been, you ball? All right. So, how important is our DC, our defensive coordinator, to our recruiting chances? Or I can't think of the words right now, but how important is our DC, and also how important is our OC? I think we need to be able to, in order for us to maintain retain the recruits that we're getting, it's important that we solidify these. I don't know why is it that we haven't really done that yet. And I listen, for all of you who ears are ready to just say, "Oh, this is normal," you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't nothing. Coach Prime knows what he's doing. Listen, I'm just saying, if you can agree that, I understand that some schools don't have that yet, and we just learned that the Alabama doesn't have their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator may be retiring. I understand that, but like it's I need to understand how affect how much effect does that have on retaining or getting the players that we want? Are some players holding out because we don't have those people in place yet and they don't have the confidence? I don't know, but I feel like it's important to have those in order for the current recruits to stay, and then for the other recruits that are coming in, for them to even decide to come over here, because we are the one that drives the narrative online. The parents are listening to us, the young men are listening to us, so we are driving the narrative online. I know that we don't control everything, but we do push the narrative online. Hey Willie, you got to turn on your devices. Feel so real, man, brother. How you doing today? Thank you so much for calling into the show today. I appreciate you, man.
Hey, thank you for having me on. If you don't mind, real quick, I just want to apologize for yesterday on how I ended the show. I I wholeheartedly feel how I said or what I said yesterday, but I
Uh-huh.
don't want to come off like a troll. I know I'm the person that normally kind of gives pushback, but I try to do it with sound and with reason. And I know I might have come off like a troll yesterday, so I just want to apologize if I desecrated the sanctity of this show, man. So I appreciate you for having me on. So yeah, I just want to put that out there, man. I don't want to come off like a troll, but I feel how I felt yesterday, and I'll just leave it at
Yo, but you know how this show goes. I don't mind that you guys.
that.
I don't mind that you guys bring venom or bring anything, as long as you don't you have thick skin for the pushback. That's all I say. Like listen, I'm all for it, but let's not catch feelings, because when the pushback comes, I want to make sure that we all respect each other and that we all understand where we're coming from. That's all.
Yeah,
Listen. I
facts,
have no idea
facts,
what you're even
facts.
talking about, but you brought it up, so as
No,
long as there's
it
no
was a comment. It was a comment about Deion just wanting to coach so he can get his sons in the NFL. But we don't have to rehash
oh
it.
yeah,
That's a
that stuff.
conversation for another day. We'll leave it at
Yeah, you were the enemy yesterday. Yeah, you.
that.
Now I understand why you had to. Yeah, you better have apologized. That was.
Hey, but it's all love though. It's all love. I promise you, man. It's all love.
Yeah, and yeah, you were on something yesterday. I was like, what the heck is this coming from? Like, what? Yo, next time drink
Oh
your tea
man.
or your coffee. I don't know what you got. Maybe add a little bit of Heineken or something. Good lord.
Nah.
What
I
the
was
heck?
drinking my lemon. Hey, I was drinking my lemon water over here, man. I'm trying to
Oh, maybe
stay.
it's
I'm
that
trying to
lemon
stay
water. You got to
blessed
add
and
a little
healthy.
sugar or something. I don't know, man. Good lord.
I should have
It's
added some
not.
honey to it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. You needed to add something to. Yeah, man. But anyways, I appreciate you. Bringing that up. Hey, man, Willie, welcome to the show, man. What's up with you? How you doing today? Thank you for calling in.
I'm doing fine, man. How's everybody doing out there?
All
Doing
is well
good,
on
doing
my end.
good.
Yeah, Phil, you put your foot in it yesterday. I was listening at the show yesterday.
Yeah, man.
Harry wouldn't call me on, so I listened at the whole thing. So, but yeah, it's good to see from you. Good to hear from you guys again, man.
Yeah, I think when I sent the link to Willie, it was kind of late already, so we was already like at the end of the closer to the end of the show, so I didn't see him jump into the into the green room.
It's
But
good.
but but yes, but anyways, Willie, you're here now, so thank you for joining. Um, so let's start with the OC. How important is it that we solidify an OC, and without galvanizing or making the base feel like Coach Prime doesn't understand what he's doing. Like let's just talk on a general level, like why we don't have an OC. And I'll start with you, Willie. What do you think about the
You
fact that we don't have an OC yet
you mean the OC for
for Colorado?
Colorado, or you want to talk about the new recruiter we have?
No. I'm starting with the OC because
Okay,
we want to
okay,
start
I
with
can.
the offensive coordinator, because at the end of the day, man, we gotta. So I just feel like, there are still some guys out there, some quality guys that are out there, and then some people still have to make decisions because we got that second round of the transfer portal coming up right now. So I want to know, like, the fact that is it hurting us for not having an OC, or just give me your thoughts on that. What do you think?
I don't think it's hurting us because the OC. I firmly believe, based on how Prime operates things, the way the operation's been going, I don't think they've waited to the last minute to tell everybody who the OC is without them been knowing who the OC is for at least maybe a couple of weeks. Because they already knew that the old OC, they already knew that they needed that a long, long time ago. And so my thought is that they just haven't let us know. And so it keeps us, our conversation going, like what we're doing, see what the base is saying pretty much. But we just don't know. And that's just pretty much how, you ever heard that old auntie, don't let the right hand know what the left hand is doing? When the right hand has already done it, they already already know what they're gonna do. So that's kind of like how, my thought on it. So I don't freak out about it now. As far as the recruits or the guys that are coming in,
No, no,
not
no. We're not
know.
jumping into that yet. Don't jump the show.
No,
Let's
no, no.
let's
I'm
take
not.
it one at a time.
No, I'm with
Oh,
you
you're
on.
talking about as far as like how is that important to that? Okay, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think, like I said, they probably give these guys that are coming in. They probably already told them, you know, we have an OC already. They've got to know this. So I don't think they're going in and just blind like that. But
You
that
don't think
was
that would
just,
be trouble to tell them because anything that you say, it can leak. So
yeah.
you don't think that'll be an issue to tell the recruits or their parents who is going to be, and they'll leak it to the media.
Well, no, I don't think they will. They probably, yeah. If they know these guys are going to be there, they probably give them the type of story. They'll tell them pretty much okay, this is who we have, or blah blah blah, so the parents and the recruits can feel comfortable with it, because it would make them, well, how you want me to come here and there's no leadership? So they have to give them the story, and whatever the story is. And I don't think it's going to be a lie, because they, like I say, they already know. So
Okay.
so if the only ones that don't know is us. So we kind of speculate and come up with our, and they kind of like get a feel for that.
All right, all right. Okay, I understand. So let me update everybody. Let me let you guys know the last thing that we heard directly from Coach Prime when he was interviewed and he was asked about the OC. I forget if it was Good Morning America or it was one of those shows. This is what he said. He said it is we are because Pat Shermer is already in house. The assumption would be that we were to assume that it'll be Pat Shermer, but it's not a done deal. They never signed anything. He didn't emphatically say, excuse me, that was what it was going to be. So just everybody understand the offensive coordinator. He is interim offensive coordinator just because of the situation with what happened with Sean Lewis,
Right.
but they have not made that official yet. So we don't really know because Coach Prime left that window open a little bit based on his wording. So Phil, you go ahead and give me your thoughts on what the OC means to Colorado, and is it what's going on at Alabama where you better start putting some names to some places before if you want some high recruits to come in?
So if you're comparing it to the Alabama situation, I think it is a little bit different. With Alabama, Saban told the guys that on the current staff, hey, give us 72 hours. We got a plan. We're gonna work on it, and he's still involved with that process with trying to bring somebody in. As far as with Colorado, I think at the very least, we can all acknowledge Deion got a plan. We can agree with whether or not it's the right plan or it's the wrong plan, but I don't think he makes any decision that's not calculated.
Yes.
Um, so in this situation, I'm not worried about who the OC is going to be. I would be more worried about the people that are going to be on the field actually running the plays that are being called. I would, if I were a diehard Colorado fan, I would rather know who my OC is now, but at the end of the day, they haven't even started conditioning and started spring practice yet. So I don't think it's too intense that they have to have one right now. But
Well,
again, I would much
in
rather
a
have
general sense,
one.
in a general sense, being a college football fan, as long as you've been a college football fan, in a general
Mhm.
sense, how important is the OC to recruiting?
Oh, it's very important. And I'm gonna use Alabama because that's the team I rooted for. But if
Mhm.
you look at somebody like a Bryce Young that was there 2 years ago, Steve Sarkisian was the offensive coordinator that was able to bring him in. Even though Steve Sarkisian left and went to Texas, Bryce Young still kept his commitment to Alabama. And so a lot of times your defensive coordinator and your offensive coordinator are some of your top recruiters on the team.
Mhm.
So I do think it is important to go ahead and get whoever your OC is going to be. Even if it's not going to be for this year, I think it will be important to figure out, okay, this is my OC. These are the guys we're trying to get in next year that's going to fit the scheme and the system that we have. So I would much rather go ahead and get him in now.
Okay, so let me bring on Tim. Tim said he wanted to. He has some information, or he wanted to drop in some gems about the OCDC. Tim, welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much. You know I always appreciate you calling in. Thank you, man.
Hey, thank you for having me, Harry. Hey, what's going on, guys, on the panel as well, Phil and Tennis?
Hey,
How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hey, I just want to say this real quick because I'm gonna have to jump off. But Phil
Hmm.
kind of hinted with the 72-hour window that Nick Saban announced yesterday in that interview. Asking the players to give him 72 hours before they start, jumping in the portals or making other decisions whether they want to stay or leave. But I feel like it's important for us now that that didn't happen. Nick Saban stepping down and everybody is coming after his stock. So, which we all know is good stock for the most part, but national championship type of stock too. So I feel like it's important for Prime to get a OC and a DC in now, so those players can have um, a chance to say, you know what, hey, I would like to play uh, for this type of DC. It fits the same schemes that we were doing over here in Alabama. I want to give Coach Prime a shot, but not having a DC or OC and letting it just linger on once that 72-hour window closes, if that's true. Like I said yesterday, they salesmen. It gives other schools the opportunity to close on them faster if they're actually viewing it from okay, let me see who the OC, let me see who the DC head coach, etc. Do I fit into this scheme of play at this university? So I feel like it's important for them to have an OCDC like yesterday.
but how do we know that these guys aren't already in place? That's what I'm saying. How do we know that they are not already there? That's the only thing I'm saying.
I mean,
If they're already there, then what?
it's a valid point.
What do you guys think is the play on keeping the names out of the media for right now? What would be the play? Go ahead. I want to hear from you, Willie. If they're already in house, what exactly do you think Prime is holding them back for?
When do you think that they knew Nick Saban was going to retire? Do you think they knew the day that they released it,
Of
or
course
had
not.
they already
They
had
knew. They've been new.
they already exactly they already had this conversation? So the 2 day window has started a long time ago. So I think they already know, and it's just one of those. It's like that's how they do things in business. They never let the people that's actually running the business tell them everything that's going on. Higher ups make the decision. Well, when they're looking for a coach, what's the process in looking for a coach? Okay, they already know that the coach is leaving, and so they make the
Willie, this is this
decision.
is this is what I want to. This is why I'm trying to challenge what you're saying. I get what you're
Yes, sir.
saying.
Yeah.
I understand and I respect it, and I know that's the process. I'm just saying, what do you think the play is like? Because it's obviously beneficial
Oh,
for the recruits to know their OC and their DC. So if they already have them, then isn't it beneficial to know for us to know who it is, or for at least the recruits to know? I'm just saying. I'm just asking. I'm not saying Coach
no,
Prime doesn't know what he's doing. I just
no,
want to keep reiterating that. I'm just asking. Is it from a college football recruiting standpoint, Tim? I want you to see if you can give me a thought because you about to leave. Isn't it beneficial? Like, am I missing something?
No, it's very been. This is my reasoning why I feel like it's beneficial to announce them is because, say for instance, you uh you have let me see, how can I word this? Oh, say for instance, Texas head coach come over and say, hey, and I'm just hypothetically speaking, which I know that's not gonna happen, but I'm just using this as an example. If the
Mm-hmm.
head coach from Texas come over to Colorado and say, hey, I'll be the OC. I want to be the OC. All right, cool. That's a great pickup. But how many of those kids at Alabama that may be good players say, hey, you know what? I didn't want to go to Texas in the beginning. I'm not coming over to Colorado because I don't like that OC. So I feel
Mm,
like it's beneficial to announce it. But I'm also gonna throw this out there.
mm. You onto something.
I feel like Coach Prime wants to go to a NFL style type of play.
Okay.
Okay, the window has closed for college football, but moving parts are still moving around as far as OCs and DCs and being really finalized a lot. But I feel like the window hasn't closed for NFL either. They just now about to get ready to go into the playoffs. So who's going to leave?
Oh.
What OCs and DCs going to lead the NFL and say, hey, you know what? I want to come over there to Coach Prime because he's building a NFL type of staff on a college level. But that's it.
So that'll play into the fact that he may have his pieces in place, but he's holding out for better, maybe? Is that right, Willie?
No, not necessarily. And he just made me think about something. While he was talking, I was thinking about the timing that the information is released. See, there's a certain time that they want to do it. There's a certain time, I believe, that they let information, go out to the fan base or to the public and stuff like that. So now, what would the timing be on that? um Certain information are released at certain times, like when they give you certain things, you guys, the creators, the content creators, sometimes you guys don't get the information till the next day. You see what I'm saying? Because they have to go through the editing process. They put this in place, this in place, this in place. But in most cases, sometimes they can release the information like right away. But they always give you that little lag away. So I think a lot of it has to do, and that what we don't know. A lot of it has to do with the timing of information, the timing you receive it. And by the time you receive it, okay, and the timing that, um, this person gets it and stuff like that. That makes sense, guys, a little
Yeah, it
bit?
makes sense. So, guys, if you want to join the show, if you want to join the conversation, just look in that corner over there, guys. Join TLP live at gmail.com. That is the call in. You send me an email. I send you a link for you to come on and you can join the conversation, guys. You can add your voice to the conversation. If you are at work, I understand, but it is free for all Friday. It's Friday. Some of you already got paid, so you can leave work early. I don't want you to get fired. I'm just joking. But if you want to add your voice to the hottest show on the internet right now, that's TLP Live. So join TLP Live at gmail.com. It's the email. So go ahead and shoot me an email. And Big Worm said he wasn't invited to the show. I'm not sure. The way that you get invited to the show is I'm inviting you all the time. I'm just saying send me an email and I'll send you the link. So I don't know that. Wait, send you a personal invitation? I don't know you.
No.
I don't.
I sent two of them, man. And you got so into and I understood it. That's why I like to listen. You got so into the show and everything. You just went right into it because it was a good show yesterday. I wasn't. I was just picking at you when I said that, man.
Oh no, I was talking about Big Worm. Big Worm.
Big Worm. Oh, okay.
Big Worm said that they weren't invited onto the show. Yeah, so I'm
Ah.
like, but the way that you get on the show is you got to call in. You got to. I put it. The big old graphic is on your screen. It says to call in. Join TLP. Do y'all see that panel? Do y'all see that on your screen?
Hey Harry, to the people out there that want to join, it's not hard. I promise you. Just send the email. He gets back to you pretty quick. If you really want to come on, pause. Hey, it ain't that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I got the thing right here. So as soon as the email comes in, I send you the link. So anyway, join TLP live at gmail.com. Phil, I want to hear from you. The last thing we just talked about. If you, I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so I don't know what's at play with why he hasn't announced it. Um, so if we want to play the speculation game, I would say he maybe hasn't figured out exactly who the right fit is because I think he understands the magnitude of the year that he's going in. At the
Mm.
very least, there needs to be some improvement. So if I have to give you a reason why he hasn't announced it, my reason is because he hasn't figured out who it is yet. I'm not saying that he doesn't know who he wants it to be, but let's
Oh,
just
you
say
going
it's
back in the
down to the
doghouse, right? You want to go back in
no,
that
no, no, no,
doghouse?
no,
You keep.
no. Hear me. No. Come on, Harry. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, but
Well, you said
seriously, I
Coach
think
Brown haven't figured it out yet. You better be careful how you choose your words around here.
no, no. But hear me. But hear me. I think let's just say he's got it
I'm
down
trying to
to
help
like
you out.
two guys.
Uh-huh,
Let's say he's got it down to two guys, right? And he
uh-huh.
knows that this is an important hire. So I think he
Mhm.
might be taking his time to make the right decision. He's a man of faith. He might be praying on it. Maybe God hasn't revealed it to him. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be honest, when Deion talks about the decisions that he makes, he always talks about how God led him to that decision that he made. So maybe God hadn't moved in that direction yet to give him the vision for who it needs to be. But with that being said, again, if I was a diehard Colorado fan, I would much rather know who my OC is now than later.
Yeah. And he knows that.
Well, yeah,
He
that's what I'm
knows
saying,
that.
and that's my thought. My thought is like, I mean, I know Coach Prime. He knows what he's doing, and he always has a plan. But I mean, what else we gonna talk about, right? I mean,
Hey,
we
but I,
we
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw, but he posted something on Twitter yesterday. And he was on a private jet, so it was a lot of rumors out there saying he was trying to go down to Tuscaloosa. We all know that's not the case, but I just think it was funny that he decided to post a picture. You know what I'm saying on a private jet, talking about I think it was kind of a restatement of the whole "if my confidence offends you" type situation. So I just thought that was funny. I think hey, Deion a troll too. Now don't get it twisted. He know how to
of
play the
course he a
game
troll.
too. So I'm gonna give him
Of
some
course he a
credit.
troll.
He know how to play the game. So it'll be interesting.
You can't run the media without trolling sometimes. So let's bring Taz to the panel. Taz, welcome to the show. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you calling in.
Hey man, shout out to everybody that's in the room, man, in the chat.
Hey, hey,
All these good
hey,
old Buff fans in here, man. Listen, y'all got a good conversation going on right now.
What is this private jet trolling situation? Do you want to speak on that, or should I just move away from
Yeah, man. You gotta get out there and study a little bit every now and then, man. You gotta
you?
you gotta
You think everybody, Phil, our resident hater, who became that
Come
yesterday?
on.
Hey man,
Oh man, don't do me like that. Don't do me like that.
all right, okay. Resident, neutral person. Let me just give you that. Let me retitle you real quick.
Yeah.
Tuscaloosa, I would assume is in Alabama, right? My geography is not that great, so are
Yeah,
we
no, you're
assuming
right.
that? Okay, so Tuscaloosa is in Alabama. Coach Prime has a lot of room in his jet, and he's going to Tuscaloosa. Is he going to go talk to an OC, or is he going to go talk to? Because the OC is available too, right? Right, Ty?
Oh yeah, everybody up for grabs right now. It's free agency. Those Alabama kids coming to Colorado, bro. Those boys that's on that depth chart, second, third stringers, they on the way. They looking that direction. Colorado is the best thing smoking out here right now.
yeah.
Colorado,
Kids, yeah,
Colorado's always the best thing spinning.
man, they're the best thing going, man. Because listen, my son is in high school, 16 years old. He plays sports. I've been knowing some of these kids for the longest. They've been calling their university out since they was in uh middle school, sixth grade or whatnot. Man, I want to go to LSU. I want to go to Texas. I want to go to A&M. I want to go here. I want to go there. Ever since Deion touched Colorado, those kids, man, after school, you hear them talking, man, I want to go play for Prime. I want to play for Prime. So you got to know that if Coach Saban left Alabama, he's retired. How many kids went there because they wanted to play for Saban? Not only Alabama, they just wanted to play for Saban. So now Saban gone. They part of that hype train, man.
Yeah. And you know what? And also, Harry, you got to remember, Sabian and Prime are the best of friends. They do commercials together. So he
I
could have,
wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't say best of friends. Let's let's let's
what
let's not put that out there.
have you ever heard his conversation with him? He
They
said,
are not
anytime,
BFF,
anytime,
Willie. Come on,
no,
Willie. Don't get my show canceled, please.
no, I'm just listening. I'm just listening at the conversation that Prime said he had with him. He said, anytime I want information, I call people like Saban. I'm always he said I'm always picking his brain. So they're friends. Trust me, they're not. And I know
Yeah,
it's
well, friends like
you know.
like you and I are friends, like not BFFs. Huh?
All right. Okay, I got
Oh, yeah.
you.
Okay,
I got it.
that's old
Oh
Mr.
God.
Tennis right there. That's Mr. Tennis. All right. Nah, man,
Yeah.
he just do it. Prime and do that out there. He just said something similar to that. So I'm gonna give him his card when he made that comment. But for
All right, guys,
sure.
hold on, real quick. Phil is gonna be my currently my resident research guru. I'm telling you guys, Phil be sending me some gems. Boy, I tell you, off the show when we get off the show, Phil have sent me some stuff that I'm like, Lord, thank you, Phil. Well, Phil just sent me this
I
information.
appreciate it.
This is what Coach Brown put out there. I look good and feel good, and if you're offended by my confidence, oh well. 2024, I'm truly saying what I feel and feel what I say. So, Coach Prime, come on now. 2024, you been saying what you feel. Like, is it gonna
Hey,
be worse than this?
but you see, my man is on a private jet with all that conversation going on about the new head coach at Alabama. He knew what he was doing. This man might have been getting ready to go to the Golden Globes. I don't know what he got going on, but the fact that he
Uh-huh.
put it out there, he knows how to control the media. And if it and whether you a hater or a lover of Deion, I think we all can agree he knows how to control the media. He was a part of the media when he started the whole prime time thing back in Tallahassee when he was at Florida State. He's been doing it since then. So you got to give the man some credit on that point.
Yeah, yeah.
Are we speculating? Do y'all even want to go into the realms of speculation on what's going on that jet? Like what that jet is about? Or should we just move on?
Nah, we'll just say he making an in-home visit. We'll just say he going to trying to go get a big fish out of the pond.
That's what it looks like to
We'll
me.
just leave it at that.
Look like to
I'm gonna
me.
I'm gonna say this. Deion Sanders ain't got to go nowhere, man. Them boys coming to him.
Yeah, that's true.
That man
Well,
ain't got. Hey,
some people are saying he better go somewhere. As far as recruiting is concerned, you got to hit that pavement. You got to get out there and you got to make some. You got to convince some kids. We can't get too big and too high to not go out there and secure some of these recruits because some of those parents they love Coach Prime and some of them cannot get out. So they may have to. I know that the school pays for the visit, the official visits, but what about unofficial visits? Coach Prime might have to hit
Hey,
that pavement to get out there.
hey,
I
Harry,
mean,
but that's a good point though. That's a really good point because when he first got to Colorado, they were asking him about recruiting guys in the state of Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Well, you know me, I ain't hard to find," and that put some people off because it was like, "Well, wait a minute, you want everybody to come to you, but you're not willing to go out there and try to get those guys." So I think if anybody wanted to get some pushback about the way he does stuff, that could be one. Sometimes as a coach, you have to put yourself out there to try to get those top dogs. I ain't saying
Yeah,
everybody deserve that special treatment, but it's probably gonna be about 5 or 6 guys every year that you may have to go and kind of shake hands, kiss babies, and eat some fried chicken from mama in her kitchen type situation.
So let's talk about retention. How do we keep the young men that are coming to this program? Because that's been one thing that has just been irking me. And I don't want to put no bad energy out there, but I just feel like nobody is safe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we get recruits, and then the fact that I'm still a little bit iffy about everybody on that list. You know what I'm saying? I know that we got a list of young men that came in early, but what do y'all feel about retention? What do we have to do, and what type of game do we play? You can start this one off, Phil. What type of game do we play for retention? How do we keep these kids in the house? Good gosh.
So I'm gonna tell you like this. One thing about Deion is he gonna keep it a buck with you, and I appreciate his honesty with the players. And I think as a coach, that's all you can do is try to be as honest as you can with guys. Hey, we brought you in. We thought you were gonna be this. We thought you were gonna be that. You're not cutting the mustard. If you want to stay here and tough it out for the next 3 years and see if you can start, you're more than welcome to. But right now, you're not going to be a starter. If you want to go elsewhere, you can. And I think, unfortunately, that's where we are with college football. Guys, if they don't start in the first 1 to 2 years, they're gonna jump ship. So I think Coach Prime is gonna have to be honest with these guys, and I think he's gonna have to find unique ways to get them on the field. And I use a quick example. There's a guy named Emmanuel Henderson who was one of the top 5 running backs that came out of high school about 3 years ago. He went to Alabama. The Alabama's running back room was very deep. However, they saw his skill set and they put him at wide receiver, and he's been training at wide receiver since he's been there. He's been able to get a small amount of run. He's been more of a special teams guy, but he's been able to make an impact on the team by switching positions. So maybe that's something Dion may have to look at doing with some of these guys that are coming in if he wants to keep them and give them an opportunity to get on the field early.
But if you let's just say, but I mean, Coach Prime obviously had to do that out of necessity for last year, where we I guess we coined the duct tape team, where we he started putting he started putting pieces here and there. I mean, just out of necessity, sheer necessity, because he didn't have no other choice. But if could that strategy backfire in some way? Tennis channel, couldn't that backfire in a way if you get a beast of a running back and you start making him play wide receiver? Could that not backfire, Willie?
Well, I think it depends on the players sometime. I
Hmm.
played college basketball. I played for the love of the game. So you got to also consider the NIL deals that are involved, the money that's involved. I played for no money. I love the game. I mean, play for nothing. So I don't
That was
think,
back in the day, brother. You old,
I
bro. Come
know,
on, stop
yeah.
playing with me.
Why you call me
I
old,
play for the
brother?
love of the game. What are you talking about, Willie? Like,
I
what is
know
that?
we don't hear that anymore, man.
We
We
showed
do
up.
not hear it anymore
We showed
because
up.
everything is so different. But
I didn't mean to call
I
you
I
old, by the way. I was just joking.
oh, I'm okay. I'm okay with it. They changed my name the other day to tennis team. I mean, not tennis team, but tennis channel 2.0. I mean, I like that. I got to find out who coined that one because I'm changing everything.
Tennis
But
channel
eh,
2.0.
but 10.2, well, I don't know what the heck that is, but that's good. But yeah, man, I think it depends on the individual. How do we retain them? How do we keep them here? How do you keep a player? You know, you have. I don't know. That's a tough one with the kids today. It's really really tough because you got the NIL deal. I heard that Colorado got this new thing with. I mean US. I mean the NCAA has already passed it now where I think that Colorado can start getting NIL monies now and everything. So the battle is on. I don't think this is going to change, but to retain a player just because he loved the school, those days are gone.
All
Those
right,
days
Todd, what do you
are
think
gone.
about that? Okay, how do we retain these kids? Like every money's on the table. Money is crazy now, and like you can literally make a career in college right now, and
Yeah.
you never make it to the NFL if you know how to manage your money. If you make a couple of $1 million, you can make that last for retirement. So, what do you think about retention on these kids, Ties? You still here with us, Ties? Ties, we got you. Are you muted? You might have to unmute yourself. All right, so Ties is disconnected. So we got a couple of things that's happening around the Colorado Buffaloes, and one thing that I was really thinking about, one thing that I was really like it's really irking me is the fact that, like I already told you guys, we get the kids, the high names, the big names that come, and some of them might have to leave. But right now, as we have it, as we look at it, we have no linebackers room. We have no linebackers room. Are we? Are we? Do we think is it possible that we're gonna get them in that second half of the portal? And if we get them in the second half of the portal, are they gonna be quality? I can start with you, Phil, on that one.
So with that situation, I haven't heard of any more people jumping into the portal. You know what I'm saying, to use that phrase. But I think
Mhm.
with Nick Saban leaving Alabama, I think that is going to cause a ripple effect because let's just say hypothetically speaking, um, Kellen DeBoer from Washington takes the Bama job. Okay, that means somebody from Washington now has that. Now, excuse me. Now the coaching job at Washington comes open. So now another
Mm.
coach is going to go to that job, and so it's going to be a ripple effect. So I
Okay.
think there's only so much talent that is currently in the transfer portal. Uh, I don't think you're going to be able to see a lot of movement in that portal right now until after spring. I think once spring is over with and teams have been able to kind of take a look at their depth chart and guys are understanding like, hey, I may not have a chance to start. I might want to jump ship. I think springtime is going to be the next time that you're really going to have an opportunity to make a splash with the portal because there's just not enough guys that are quality in the portal right now.
So I got the linebackers room up. This, I got to get a new one obviously because we got to take Lundy off of that. Um, this linebackers room is underwhelming, very underwhelming. I know we had a few players that were red shirted, but how much can you trust a red shirt to be 2024 Big 12 ready? Because the one thing about the Big 12 is that the Big 12 has um I believe it's 5 or more preseason ranked teams. So it's almost reminiscent of the Pac-12 again, all over again. All right, and we play all of them. So we're not getting no breaks. Okay, there ain't gonna be no break. Now, the thing that makes me happy is the fact that we are battle tested and we will be ready. But how in the world does this room? How can this room give Buff Nation? How can this room give Buff Nation confident that we're going to be able to stop the run now that Lundy is off of this list? And I know the Wade brother is on here. He should be on here too. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold down to y'all. I don't feel confident right now. I'm just gonna maybe have to be patient to wait for the second half of the portal to see who we get. But as far as a linebackers room, I don't feel confident. How do you guys feel? Let's go ahead and start with you, Willie.
Okay. I go back to what we've been saying, since Prime been there. Trust the process. However,
Hmm.
however, it is it, it depends on what our recruiting team can get. Who's ever there, that you can trust that they're gonna get the best available linebacker that's gonna that's gonna complement what we already have. And that was a big blow that Lundy, big blow that he left. But man, we just gotta trust those guys gonna do it. I know that linebacker's out there. Where he is, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you. Uh, however, we at this point now, and we got a little bit of time. We got a little bit of time. We're at the point now where we just have to just see who they're gonna get. I believe that with Saban leaving, Bama's there's gonna be a lot of guys that's gonna release. Probably a lot of them gonna come here. A lot of them will probably be guys that were on the taxi squad or something like that, or the ones that were um I don't know if we'll get any starters. It'd be nice if we had had a couple of starters come this way, but then you've got the guys that were maybe on their depth chart that were number two. They may want to come this way and and get some playing time.
All right.
So
So with
that,
with that, go ahead. You have more to say?
yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, that's all I want to say on
So with that being said, then let's talk a
that.
little bit about the addition of Devin Rispers. Now,
Oh,
how instrumental is he going to be with? Do y'all think the fact that we're still looking for the defense? I would say because the defensive line is probably like I said we okay for right now as far as the defensive line, but the fact that we need edge, we need linebackers. Um, what Phil? What part or how do you see this being a good recruit as far? I mean, a good addition as far as that's concerned.
So I always look at coaches and I always look at a staff that has been able to do more with less. And
mhm.
I think it's a fair statement to make that Colorado has more resources at their disposal than FAMU does. So for him to be able to put together a team that was challenging for the SWAC every year, even though Deion was at Jackson State and was able to put together a really good team, you know what I'm saying, with those guys that were transferring in. FAMU was always able to be very competitive. If I'm not mistaken, the past 2 years, the only two games they lost was when they played Jackson State each year. So that was the only thing holding them back from winning the SWAC and then going on to win the Celebration Bowl. So the fact that he could do more with less, I think that now that he's at Colorado and he's going to have those resources, I think
Yeah.
this is going to be a good move. I don't know how long it's going to take him to get acclimated to a Power Five conference. Well, technically Power Four now, but to a bigger conference. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you know what I'm saying? Like we come from nothing, and then when we get a little bit of something, we don't know how to act when we get it because there's an adjustment period. I'm wondering how long that adjustment period is going to be, but I do think once he makes that adjustment, they'll be successful.
So as far, so he Coach Prime was there. Michael Jordan. They were just waiting for him to leave so that they can be great.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Oh,
oh yeah,
oh,
oh yeah. It's just like people celebrating Nick Saban leaving. I got a cousin, my cousin. I love him to death. I'll take a bullet for him. He's a UGA fan. He sent me a video of him dancing in the living room when Saban left, and I was like, the fact that you dancing and celebrating because a coach left, let me know how much you thought about that coach. So I think Dion had that same effect in the SWAC. Once he left the SWAC, a lot of coaches felt a little bit more comfortable about their chances of winning. So yeah, I give
mm.
you that.
And for those of you who asked earlier or who brought this up earlier about the cornerback that was leaving, that was Jacquez Robinson. He's going to
Mhm.
be entering the transfer portal. So I mean, as far as his production, I don't believe that he had a strong production. And because I mean, do y'all remember Jacquez Robinson? I mean, his name even being called um at all?
He
I mean,
made
I
a,
did
he made
mention.
a
Vaguely.
he made a few plays here and there, but nothing crazy.
All right, so let me just give you all the stats real quick. That way, you guys know the real. Robinson played in 7 games for Colorado last year, racking up 9 tackles, one for a loss, and an interception against Bo Nix or against Bo Nix. That's the one thing that I remember that I told you guys about. One of 3 picks on the season for the Heisman finalist. Okay, so he that one pick was that was with the one of the 3 picks. So that was when he did it. It was something that gave the Buffs a highlight because Bo Nix hadn't gotten picked, I believe, when we played them. Robinson was a study part of the Buffs defensive backfield rotation, an original 3-star recruit from Jacksonville's Sandalwood High School, Florida. Prior to 3 years at Alabama, he'll have 2 years of eligibility left on the books. Um, was he on the practice squad? Because you a Bama fan, was he on the practice squad, Phil? And do you
No,
remember him?
he actually got some run. And there's a funny clip. I'll see if I can find it and send it to you. But
Mm.
it was in garbage time when Bama was up by like 40 on somebody, but he made a bad read on the play and he got fussed at by one of the seniors on the team. And he, you know what I'm saying, he stood in there and took it like a man, but like he gave up a touchdown when the team could have had a shutout. So that was that was like his one shining moment at Bama. But I bring it up to say like a lot of times guys be like, hey, we want these guys from Bama, we want these guys from Bama. But a lot of times when those guys transfer out from Bama, they don't do that well at other programs. I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not saying that the guys that could transfer this year won't be successful, but
Mm.
historically, when you leave Alabama, you don't put up the stats that people think you're gonna put up when you get into a different system.
So
Phil,
Willie,
why do
let's talk about that a little bit, Willie. Let's
you,
because obviously we're looking for pieces to come from the portal. We've also had the conversation that maybe the portal is not the best route to go. We need to develop players. So what as far as leadership is concerned, let's talk about that a little bit. When we get these guys either from Bama or we're gonna get them from different places, what about production? How what do you think about the leadership that has to take place for them to be able to translate?
well, you're not going to get, a lot of leadership that you need from the high school. Uh, we right now we're not developing a lot of high school students, so that's out. So you look for guys that might try that might may transfer in, or guys that's coming through the portal. Um, you the best way you could look for leadership or get leadership out of those places is their performance on the field. If you see the video that we get that comes in about these players, you can look pretty much and tell if they dogs or not, or their leadership skills and everything. You're not gonna get a. I mean, so it's like leadership has you, and you guys know this leadership. And Phil, you can tell me if I'm right on this. Leadership has to be something that you develop over a period of time. And so if you are a junior or a senior, that leadership is developed already or is still developing. Um, far as quality leadership for what we need right now, it's I think it's going to come
Not
from
not from
leaders.
the players from standpoint, but from like as far as the the staff, because Phil said,
Ah,
if you a Bama player may not translate, so they're coming from under a different style of leadership. So we're talking about the style of leadership that he's coming under Coach Prime and whoever he finally eventually gets for OC and DC. How does that leadership plays? What role does that leadership play in translating these young men who don't usually translate?
well, you've got to have solid leadership. I mean, you've got to have that coming from. If you've got a very good coach or a really good coach and everything, how well he's able to lead that individual or lead that player, that's gonna, like I said, you know, depends on how he's going to respond to leadership from the coach at the other place. So I think that's real important is that they have that basic and that they're able to follow leadership. See, it's one thing to have a good leader. It's another thing to be able to follow leadership. Are you going to listen to that leadership? Or are you going to follow them? Or are you going to just do it on your own? So
So Phil, why do you think it's hard for Bama players to translate? Because if Shador's recruiting them and Jordan Seaton is recruiting them, why is it hard for? Is it just at Colorado, or is that something that goes around with depending on where school they go to? Do they usually don't translate to other teams as well? Or is it just a Colorado thing?
Um, I don't think it. Well, you said Colorado. Do you mean is it usually just a Bama thing when they don't translate? I just want to make sure
I
I'm
mean,
answering the
when they
question
when it, when the
correctly.
players don't translate, right? What do we attribute that to? Is because obviously we got a couple of players that didn't translate too well at Colorado. He didn't translate. Jacquez did not
Hmm.
translate, but it's not unique to Colorado. Do they usually don't translate
Right.
across the board?
Yeah. 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 Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. I think the only two people that really have been able to transfer from Alabama and get into the league. There was a middle linebacker, this guy named Drew Sanders. He ended up transferring to Arkansas, and he was successful. And then Alvin Kamara, he's in the NFL now. He transferred from Alabama like 5, 6 years ago. I think it boils down to system. It's all about kind of what system they have in place, and I think
Mhm.
coaches, even though like let's say a Georgia, a Alabama, Ohio State, schools like that, they can get the cream of the crop. They also find guys that are going to fit their system. And if they don't find the guy that's going to fit their system, let's say they just get the top quarterback, or maybe not quarterback, but let's say they find the top defensive lineman that don't necessarily fit their system, they're going to find a way to put that guy in the best position to make the most out of his time at that school. And I think that's what's most important about bringing a guy in, especially if you're going to bring somebody in from the transfer portal, because they've already been used to doing things a certain way at one school. So now, once you bring them over to Colorado, how are you going to maybe break some of those bad tendencies and some of those bad habits that they had at the other school and get them to work for what you're trying to do at Colorado?
So let's pivot to let's be realistic. How much time do we really have for these OCs in the DC? Like, let's just be realistic, because we know that Coach Prime is doing his thing. He's going to be okay, but how much time do we really have from a strictly football perspective? Are we, yeah,
That's going
that's
to
the
be on
question.
Dion because Dion was the one who made the decision when he took the play calling role from Sean Lewis, right? So it's really going to be on Dion. I think if they come out, let's say they start 1-2 next year, then the heat under that seat is going to get a little bit hotter. If they come in 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 next year, I think people might sit back and relax. So that's all up to Dion and on what his
Oh, no, no,
expectation
not that
is.
kind of time. No, I mean, like, how much what how much time do we have to roll out the OC and the DC? How much time from a football
Oh,
perspective?
okay.
When do we start panicking? When do we start pushing that panic button? Let's say, hey, coach, the season's about to
I
start,
would
bro.
say I would say like by the Super Bowl, if you don't have an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator officially announced by the Super Bowl, I would be worried.
Because we're conditioning now, right? We got the kids in the enrolled, the early enrollees. They're on
Hmm.
campus now, right? So
Hmm.
so if you're saying, like, from a football, I just want to again, we're clarifying what's happening from a football perspective. So, because obviously everybody around here are not football people, so that people understand how football works. College football, not stop reading into Deion Sanders doesn't know what he's doing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying from a football perspective, how much time do you really like have from the time that the season is ended, the season just ended, for everybody, to, like, for the next season to start, that you need to have everybody in place. That's what I'm talking about.
Well,
Well,
you
it,
got
it
them.
boils down to when spring starts. So if you want to
Yeah.
go based off of that, then I would say at the very least you would want your OC or DC to be there at least a month or so before spring starts, because at the very least you're going to start installing the principles of the offense. You may not, give the players the entire playbook, but the certain schemes and certain nuances of that type of offense and defense that they're running, that's when you're going to start implementing it. So I would say at the very least a month before spring starts.
A month before.
Uh, if
Go
you
ahead,
will
Will.
put a and if you will put a time on it, I'd say from January, February, March, you're going to spring. I'd say 4 months, 3 to 4 months to prepare uh, your team pretty much for what you expect of them, what you expect of your pretty much your OC and all these guys. I would say anywhere from 3 to 4 months. If I would put just say a solid time on it, that should give
But
you an
what does
idea.
that leave? What does that leave you as far as what our time frame? If you're saying 3 to 4 months to prepare, what does that say about our us not having one right now? Because doesn't that put us right now with January 12th?
Everybody's coming into training on the 14th, I think. They're gonna be in training this week, so we're right on time. If they start when they said they were going to start in January, or everybody had to be in camp, and we're talking CU, or by the 14th, something like that, then they start now, and that should give them, you do well. Then you got your conditioning drills where they running them doggone bleachers and all that stuff. They're doing all the running and stuff, all that crazy stuff, we don't do no more. So it's if it starts now, January, February, you got, then you got in March we have what spring. We have
So
the spring.
are you saying that we need to get them in now, or
Oh,
what is
they
your
come.
answer?
Yeah, they're coming in within the next couple of days. Yes, sir. That's
No,
the
no, no, no.
plan.
Hey,
Are you understand what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think I do.
We're talking about the OC. Like, how much time do we really have? Because we don't have one. We haven't announced yet.
Oh,
I was saying
oh,
that.
your OC been in months ago. You think the OC is just gonna come here now in January? It don't business don't work that way. Your OC's been in probably already. That's why I said what I said earlier, man. They
Okay, so
already know.
okay. So you're standing on business saying the OC's there. He's already working. We're just waiting for Coach Prime to tell us.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay,
what I'm
okay. Then we
saying.
can move from that. All right. So breaking
Yeah.
news, Florida State.
hey, but
Breaking
Harry,
news, Florida.
but Harry,
Yeah.
go ahead with the breaking news. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Breaking news: Florida State head coach Mike Norvell has announced he is staying put in Tallahassee. So that whole Florida State coach moving from Tallahassee to shake up college football, that is not happening. Dan Lanning Dan Lanning has also said that he's staying put, and you're staring at it right there on your screen. He made a whole hype video. They like, yo, I'm not going anywhere. So we are taking Dan Lanning, Florida State's coach, off of the list of potential suitors for that job. And so you guys are looking at that on your screen right now. This is the hot board.
Hey,
We're
Harry.
taking the top two guys off of that list. Go ahead, Phil.
Hey, I just want to point out Nick Saban has made a lot of coaches some money over the past 48 hours because Dan Lanning is about to get an extension. Steve Sarkeesian is about to get an extension. Mike Norvell is about to get an extension. And if Kellen DeBoer comes to Alabama, he's finna get a pay raise. So I just want to say they call him Saint Nick for a reason. He's giving out charity to a lot of different coaches. Um,
Yeah.
but
So
but but I
you're
wanted to
saying that the scare that he's putting into these schools, they're making them ante up, or they're making them ante up the money?
hey, if you got a legit coach that you believe in, you better pay him now because otherwise Alabama's gonna come after him. Because I mean, I think the fan base doesn't want to miss on this new head coach. The executives don't want to miss on it. The board of regents and the board of directors and all those guys don't want to miss. They can't miss out on this. So the top coaches on that list, either you gonna pay me or I can just go to Bama where I got a team sitting there waiting and ready for me to go to a championship.
So what? Okay, remember earlier we talked about the trickle down effect. In order for the so I think it's a consensus that we need a brand name to Alabama, right? Now, let's just speculate that there's no brand name that goes to Alabama. Let's just say they wait until they get an NFL guy. Okay, maybe 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 they get some big name NFL guy to come over here to coach. Then that may help out. Or if they don't get a brand name, then we might get that trickle down effect where kids are like, I don't know, I'm out.
Yeah, I think that can happen. Honestly, I think right now Kellen DeBoer is the big name that people are talking about. And if you look at that link that I sent you, man, if you look at Washington's record before he got there, they were a losing team about 4 years before he got there. If you look at Kellen DeBoer, everywhere he's went, he's won. I think his overall record is like 109-12. So if
Wow.
you got a guy that can do, again, going back to the recruiting director that came from FAMU, if you can do more with less, and I'm killing the board, and I was able to build up Fresno State, and then I went to Washington. And last year we lost 2 games. This year we went undefeated, went to the national championship. What you think I'm gonna do at Alabama? So
Well,
it's not always about flash.
the incentive for him would be to stay at Washington and just win it all the way out. What how would he look going to Alabama? I don't know.
I
I don't know.
think
That's a
guys,
good look for him.
but some guys want to be on the biggest stage, man. Everybody's motivated by different things.
Yeah.
Dion, he likes to go somewhere where he's needed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
if Kellen DeBoer, and if you're a coach, most coaches want to coach on the biggest stage. There's no brighter spotlight than being at Alabama. And if you really want to test your manhood, what better way to do it than coming behind the greatest of all time, or the second greatest of all time? The first is Eddie Robinson, the head
That
And
coach
may
at
be
Grambling
that
State
may be a
University.
deterrent
That's
as
another
well.
conversation.
he's
It,
pretty
it could
much
it could
set
be. It
up.
could be.
He pretty much set up for success. He's pretty much getting kids that are coming in there that's ready to play. So pretty much that um everything that's gonna be in it's gonna um be implemented, is pretty much there. He comes in with put his little style to it, and he's gonna do. I think he's gonna do well if he goes. If he goes.
So us not having a DB room, guys, we are we
Wait a minute, a
we
DB
are
room or a linebacker room? You change what's going on
oh,
now? You don't
linebackers
Don't
got
room.
change on
linebackers?
us. Don't
DB.
change on us,
Okay, I was
Harry.
finna. Hey, I was
A
finna get word for a second.
No, us not having a linebackers room is a is a major spot of concern for me. And the edges, like, okay, I'll put this schedule back up because this is always our motivating factor. This is always this is where we go. And as you pointed out, Phil, where these games are not 100% in the order that they may be played in, but these are the teams that we're definitely going to be playing. And
Mhm.
like I said, I think it's five, if not more, of the teams that are showing up in almost everyone's preseason rating, right?
Mhm.
So if we're going to be facing the same situation that we faced in the Pac-12, then I'm just going to put up a caution flag and say that okay, we may fix the O-line, but if we bring in that same style of defense, or we bring in that defense again, we're gonna have the same issues that we had in the Pac-12. Is that fair to say? Is that a fair assessment? Because
Oh
I
yeah,
don't know
for
that we're
sure,
fixing a
for
lot.
sure.
Phil, let me ask Phil a question. What type of defense did CU? I'm not that familiar with the type of defense. I've been
I think we
studying
were a
that stuff.
4-3. We ran a
Well,
4-3 under
4-3.
Kelly.
And so, was it the type of defense we were running, or do we need to go to maybe another type defense? If we run the 4-3 the way it's designed to run, I think I think we should do pretty good because we number one we got better talent coming in. So so
Yeah, but I
I'm
think that Willie, the question about the talent has to be in the places that we have the most need. I think that's
mhm, okay,
remember
yeah,
remember the idea of the safety coming down to help out, right? The linebacker.
yeah.
So we don't have that. We also need another corner that has the same abilities as a Travis Hunter, because I still don't feel like our safeties, the other on the other side of Travis Hunter, I still don't feel like we have the strength there. And Travis Hunter, if he gets beat again, if Travis Hunter has the same attitude where he feels like he has to cover for certain people, we're gonna be facing similar issues. That's why I don't know if I like it's how much do we start trusting that second half of the second recruiting? Because I don't know, do we get the best talent in the first half, or is it equal that we get it in the second half, depending on what type of movement happened after everything is all said and done? That's why I feel
I,
uncomfortable, and I think it's a right. I think I'm right to feel uncomfortable.
no, I think you're right to feel uncomfortable. I think the biggest you're going to get your biggest wave of recruitment in that first transfer portal.
Mhm.
and I say it because like guys are kind of eager to go ahead and get in there and get their life situated, get ready, do an early enrollee situation, get there in the spring, right? But when
Mhm.
you have guys that transfer out in the spring, a lot of times those are guys who realize, well, shoot, I'm probably not gonna start. So they trying to get up there. I'm not gonna call them quitters or anything like that, but they're guys
Mhm.
that see that, hey, this ain't working out like I thought it would. So I think if Colorado wanted to get their best chance to get the best players in the locker room, it was gonna be
Mhm.
this transfer portal cycle. Um, as far as the secondary is concerned, I do think Carmani is going to make that leap from okay, he had a lot of potential. He didn't understand the work ethic that it took to be successful at Colorado. I hope that he does right this spring and get in the weight room, put on a couple of extra pounds, study the film, things of that nature. And if he does what he needs to do, I think you're going to have your two shutdown corner, so to speak. And I don't like using that phrase because shutdown corner should be reserved for a select few of people. But I think you're gonna have two really good corners on the
Then
outside,
how can you
and
put
then it's
shutdown
gonna
on Cormani? Cormani's there's no way Cormani's shut down in the second year.
well,
I think Cormani's shut
I'm
down in year 3.
but the
I don't
biggest the
know,
biggest
Harry. I
the
don't know.
biggest leap guys take is from their freshman year to their sophomore year,
Yeah,
and
I
I
don't know.
think the potential that we saw in him coming out of high school, if he lives up to that potential, I think we're gonna see a lot more glimpses of it this year.
Yeah, because you
I
remember.
this is I'll give it to you, Tennis, but give me a second. I
Mhm.
think the glimpse had to show. Let's just say he wasn't 100%, but I feel like the glimpses had to show in the first year, and then you're like, okay, now the second year we could definitely gonna see that. I didn't see the glimpse in the first year. That's why I'm not confident in saying that he's gonna be the second coming of Travis Hunter. Go ahead, Willie.
Uh, I saw some glimpses of it. He's got the speed. He's got the range. He's pretty rangy for a DB. Um, so he's got all of those skills. I think to make that to kind of make a big leap. You know, a lot quicker than what he did. Plus, with that, Harry, he's got the knowledge. He has a little bit more knowledge. Remember, the knock on this kid wasn't that he was slow to learn. He just wasn't taking the time to learn. Once he gets in there, and like I said, he probably already done it. They've gotten on him. He knows what his job is, what it is to do. Travis been working with him a lot. I think he's gonna make some pretty because he's gonna have a little bit more confidence now. Freshman year, no confidence at all. I'm just gonna get out here and just do what I know to do. I I think in this league, like I said, this is me. It's just me. I'm I'm thinking he's gonna make that leap and may not. Yeah, I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be. We'll have those because I think Travis should play more DB. He's a great receiver. I think Travis should play more deep, more defense to kind of help that what we're talking about having the two shutdown corners. I mean, just a little bit to see how it starts. Because sometimes, a couple of times, my man got beat. But I'm thinking. Go ahead, my
No,
friend.
no, I was gonna say I think honestly Travis is a better receiver than he is a DB. I think
Yeah.
the thing that saves Travis is that he's very instinctive. If you look at the interceptions he had this year, a lot of his interceptions came off of when he was playing in zone coverage and kind of jumped out of his zone and kind of baited the
Mhm.
quarterback.
Right.
I don't recall seeing any of his interceptions coming from man to man. And obviously, like everybody's gonna remember when he got what I'm saying, when he got cooked against Stanford, when he gave up that one touchdown. But there were a lot of times where he got beat, what I'm saying, pretty bad one on one. So I think personally he's a better receiver than he is a DB, but his ball skills give him the opportunity to make up for some of those inefficiencies at cornerback.
So
Yeah.
I don't think that Travis is perfect, and I'm not expecting one of the hardest positions to in college football to be a perfect person. I think what you just said about his instinctiveness, I think that's what gives you the confidence that he's going to make plays when they're needed. He's gonna show up when we need somebody to show up. That's what you look for in that player, because I don't know that any corner can maintain. You see what I'm saying? Cannot get burnt. Anybody cannot get burnt. I mean, we watched the daggone Washington game, and daggone, I mean, the quarterback got shadored. The dude was getting hit so much it was a reminiscence. It was like Colorado fans were looking at it like, what the heck? Is this the
Hey,
second
but
coming of
that Michigan
Shador?
defensive line is tough, man. Those guys are good and they're deep. It's not
But
just
how
the
do you think
starting three
Washington
that's
got?
really good.
How do you think Washington got where they got to? Their O line had to
It,
be good and not get their quarterback smacked up during the season. But it's like, how many strong Michigan type teams did they play to get where they're at? Their O line seemed like they were Colorado's O line.
Yeah,
but here's the thing though,
because
you can win games and still not always play your best, because that's why Penix didn't win the Heisman, because there was about a 3 or 4 game stretch in the middle of the season where he fell off, and some of that had to do with the offensive line, but they were still able to win. They went undefeated. They made it to the playoffs. They beat Texas fair and square. They went against Michigan. They hadn't seen the defensive line like that, and you see what happened.
But what specifically was it that made their O line just collapse and get that and got that dude hurt and then crushed his NFL ratings and got him dropped to almost number 4 or 6 or something like that? Like, come on. Like, the dude was wincing. He was leaving the field. He needed a freaking shot like Shador did.
Hey, sometimes you just going against people that are better than you. I mean, like I would love to be able to like break down the film and give you like this big esoteric reason as to why. Sometimes you just get your butt whooped by somebody better than you, and I think that was the case in the national championship game.
I wonder if CU fans watched that game and they were counting the seconds that it took to get to the quarterback, because that was one of my wishes. It's like, hey guys, please understand, yeah, if you see a good offensive line in Washington, but you see a better defensive line in Michigan, you see how fast they are getting to Penix. And I mean, the fact that at the rate that he was getting rid of that ball was crazy. It was like, it was very fast, but still with a good offensive line, they were still able to get to him. So I always say these type of prescriptions, or I always say these type of narratives for us to look at and say, okay, so you see that example. If you see that example, then think about that. Let's just say, let's take Washington's O-line and give it to CU, and then start looking at it from a standpoint of the quarterback. Are they preparing Shador to get rid of the ball as fast as Michael Penix? Are they preparing him to do that? Because if we give Shador Washington's O-line, which is a decent O-line to make them go undefeated, he got to perform that much better in his mechanics in order for that good O-line that he's finally getting. But what if he doesn't? We're going to be right back where we started. Isn't that a good assessment, or to even a good way to even think about it? Look how much of a good O-line Michael Penix had, and look how Michigan's defense exposed him. Now put us in that position.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're thinking realistic. Yeah, I think you're thinking. I don't think it's a stretch to say that to
could happen.
question, how good the team would be if they had a better, even if they had a better offensive line, how good the team would be. I don't think that's a ridiculous question to ask.
Right. So now you look at Utah, Arizona, Oklahoma State, Kansas State. You look at Kansas and Texas Tech. You look at all of those teams. Their defenses are good defenses. And we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, not on this show because we only have a few more minutes left. But realistically, like, that was a prime example. And the reason why I really wanted to live stream that game, I want CU fans to really start putting on that realistic hat. Look at what happened to Michael Penix Jr. And guess what? I don't know if anybody counted the rate at how fast he got rid of the ball. I mean, it was electric. I was like, wow. I think I even made that statement. I was like, did you see how fast he got rid of the ball? He got great mechanics in getting rid of the ball fast. But even with that, that was not enough. And I was like, yo, CU fans, are y'all paying attention? Are y'all out there, CU fans? Are y'all do y'all
Hey, Harry.
understand?
And I think this is why some of the people that come on and say like CU fans are delusional to even talk about winning the Natty. That's why they say that, because it's like you're talking about, oh man, Colorado's going to go to the playoffs next year with the transfer portal they brought in this year, right?
Mhm.
But look at the top notch teams that are out there that have an established offensive line, have an established defensive line. It's
Mhm.
not that easy just to say, oh, we got some guys from the transfer portal. We finna go run the table. It's not that easy. You got to have some legit players out there, and you got to have some good coaches that are going to find the right scheme to put those people in the right position to make the
Mhm.
most out of it.
So, but Harry, if what you're saying, and what if we compare all of our, just say everybody in our conference to Michigan, we don't stand a chance.
That's not the point though. I'm not
I,
saying
I, I
compare
know that I
Michigan.
know that's not I know that's not the
I,
point you're making,
I'm
but
saying okay, we're getting a good O line, right? Our O line is getting better. It's getting
yeah.
better. But
Mhm.
in order for us to put things into perspective and have a realistic idea on what the team is going to look like, so that everybody can feel comfortable going into the season and knowing that we're going to have a good chance,
Yes, sir.
we're going to have 5 pre-ranked teams. 5. Okay? And I think it was it was close to the same number in the Pac-12. And these teams are going to come in with their good defense. We know Arizona has one. We know Utah has one. We know Kansas State and Kansas and Texas Tech all have good defenses. So they're gonna come after Shador too, even with that good O line. And I don't know that I can even say what we're currently getting is equal to what Washington had against Michigan on that O line. I don't
Well,
know that we're getting enough pieces to equal to Washington's O line. So if we're getting a decent O line with Michael Penix's mechanics of getting rid of that ball within 2 seconds, I counted it myself. The dude was getting rid of the ball as soon as the snap happened. 2-step, boom, it was out, and they still hurt him. That's why I want us to put in our brain. Okay, we got so many ranked teams, pre-ranked teams already that we're going to be playing. Do we have the pieces and Shador's mechanics? Can we trust that to say we're going to run the board? Just so people can start thinking in that vein, like start thinking in that direction. This is how you think about how the season is going to go. This is how you think about how you everything. Because Michael Penix was like, it was literally 2 seconds. It was not 3 seconds, because I know a lot of people like to say, oh man, we get 4 to 5 seconds. That's eternity.
yeah.
4 to 5 seconds is eternity. Michael Penix had to get the ball out in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And if we dare say, okay, which defense or which team on here has the defense that's the closest to Michigan's defense, I would say from the little bit of research that I've done so far, I would say Kansas defense is pretty good. All right, I'm just comparing it to Michigan's defense. Texas Tech defense is pretty good. Utah, and definitely Arizona. So that's 3 teams that it's almost like, if you look at, that's 4 teams that we can possibly lose to. Possibly lose to. That's 4 games.
No,
That we're
I
out of
agree.
12 with 4 games
Well,
losing.
yeah, realistically, well, what you're saying is realistic stuff to really think about.
But that's 4
So
games.
that
We're out of 12. With those 4 teams, if they're punished Shador, remember it's 2 seconds. 2 seconds Penix had to get rid of that ball. And if I'm lying, go back to the game and watch it.
So Harry, what you're saying, then what you're really saying, I'm gonna tell you what you're really saying here is that we've got to do a better job of protecting our quarterback, and he has to improve on his mechanics.
Well,
No,
I
Would
mean,
that be
I'm gonna be
would that
honest
be,
with you. What
would that
I'm
be
hearing
sound?
what I'm hearing is he's questioning, do we have the talent And I
That's
shouldn't
what I'm
even say
saying.
we. But does Colorado have the talent to even give him a chance to work on those
Right.
things? And I think
Like
right now
now
it
I'm like,
remains to be seen.
let's look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
let's take a real look at the talent that we're getting and compare it and be realistic about what we saw in that national title game and everybody's assessment of all we need is a better O line. And that's where I want to pick apart that thinking. If we need a better O line, then let's give Washington's O line to Shador. And now what that does is it now brings up several questions. You see what I'm saying, Willie? The
Yes, sir.
questions
Yeah,
that
yeah,
are
yeah.
gonna
I do. I do. I
the,
do.
the questions that are gonna come up if we give Michael Penix's O line to Shador, which would be 1,000 times improvement from last year's, right? Now we got to go to mechanics, and we say, how fast did Michael Penix get rid of the ball? And he still got destroyed, and he still came off limping and holding his side. Almost the same thing, like reminiscence of the same exact thing that happened to Shador almost every other game after we won 3, right? So now we got to start asking questions about Shador's mechanics. How fast he gets rid of the ball, how fast he hands the ball off, how many times he drops back. We know that Michael Penix takes that 2 steps back, and sometimes he steps up or he stays in the pocket. He's not going backwards. Shador does that. That's a reason. That's a reasonable reason to be concerned. And Shador is Penix ain't as mobile. Shador is not that mobile either, and he's a pocket quarterback. He doesn't get out of the pocket too many times.
Well,
If anything, he steps backwards. Too many games he went backwards as opposed to coming forward. And I think Tim, I think Tim wants in.
well,
Tim,
let me throw this at you. Just one thing.
okay, after that,
If,
then Tim can have it because I think he got to go. Go ahead.
okay, if you notice, and the guy said this, the whole time, Pennis was only sacked 11 times throughout the whole year. So you got to consider the talent that they were against. I guess if he was only sacked 11 times the whole year, that one game they ate him up. So how does that play into what you're saying? Because remember,
I think that's my point. My
they
point
took
is
care of him.
that's my point exactly. He has a good O line, so if we were to take his O line and
Okay.
give his O line to Shador, and he only gets 11 sacks, then with that O line, now we have questions about Shador's mechanics. So go ahead, Tim.
Okay.
Oh no, I just had a little bit of pushback. I wasn't
Mhm.
gonna come back on, but those 4 teams that you just named, it ain't one team on there that can compare to Michigan's defense, man.
I
And
mean,
I'm just being honest.
I was just trying to say who's the
They don't.
closest to having like to being able to. I mean, because we got to play them. So
Utah and Texas Tech.
Utah and Texas Tech are going to have, and then also Kansas. Their
Kansas
defense is
I'm gonna
decent.
add Arizona to that.
and
I ain't
Arizona.
gonna
Yeah.
add Arizona. We put up 30 some points on Arizona last year. That how you
And
can
you don't think
compare
they're gonna
them or
get
even
better?
come close?
You don't think they're
I
gonna
don't see
get
a,
better though?
we're gonna get better too. I'm talking about what we got now coming in based off of what Harry's talking about. Washington offensive line and the time that Penix was getting the ball out of his hand, we wouldn't be able to compete with that type of defense, man.
But what does that tell you? Like, what are we reading into that? If we're, because now you know what this does, and I want to say, John Shaft, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you, but I think it puts this into perspective on how we look at who we're getting, how we look at the improvement of our O line, so that people can really take a good look and say, okay, we're not. I don't know that anybody's going to be able to articulate how good of an O line comparing to Washington's O line and what Penix had to deal with running for his life. You see what I'm saying? So Penix
Right.
had a good O line. What if we? What if? Let's just say, what if our O line got as good as Washington's O line? Then
Hmm.
doesn't that comes back to the mechanics of Shador?
Yeah, it comes back to the mechanics of Shador, but I will say this: in the national championship game, Penix really had one, I consider one NFL type of caliber receiver. The reason that,
So you're
I mean,
insinuating we have better receivers.
yes. So if you take
Okay.
that,
We
if
do.
you take, if you take, if you take that O line and put it with Shador in the wide receiver room that we have now, now I feel like that creates a lot of one-on-ones on the outside. Michigan.
I think Tim, I think your audio went out.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
After you said Michigan, your audio went.
Okay. Michigan has some nice DBs, but I feel like it creates that one-on-one matchup, and Shador would have blew the doors off of them. What we have now currently with Washington offensive line, he would have blown the doors off of Michigan, man.
Who's Peter and what is Peter doing in the chat? Like, what are your Peter? What are you doing? I don't get it. Peter, I don't know. Is Peter a new person? What is Peter doing in the chat? Are you agitating? All right, so let's see.
Yeah,
Thank you.
he's a troller.
All right, Peter, calm down. We are respectful around here. You can be in the chat. You can come communicate with people in the chat. Please be respectful. That's all we try to do here. We try to have a respectful community, and we try to respect each other's comments and each other's views. Nobody's the authority on Deion Sanders or the Colorado Buffs. We all are just fans here, and we just trying to have a good time talking about Colorado Buffaloes football. So please be respectful and respect other people's comments. That's all I got to say. Thank you very much, Peter. That's it. But let's since John Shaft give me this super chat. Alpha Row, I got you. I'm coming to you in a second. Good job, Harry. Our lines currently will be the worst in the Big 12. I don't know if I agree with that, but we'll talk about it a little bit. Did we forget Shador running for his life last year? What has changed? So just on the surface, the line has changed. Both lines are changing. That's what I want to make sure that we understand. Like, both lines are definitely changing, and we've done a pretty good job here on this panel. Willie and Phil So Real, DC Carson Music, Wild Dog, Panda. A lot of us here, we have given you information to let you know why it's changing, how it's going to be better. But my example right now is just saying, okay, I believe that Washington, the Huskies line behind in front of Michael Penix Jr., I believe that's a better line than even what we have been able to put together. So if we're just doing an assessment, just looking at what he had, if we give that line an even better line to Shador, how do we question his mechanics, or how do we even grade his mechanics? So let me bring on Alpha Row. He can take that question first. Welcome to the show, Alpha Row. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. I think what you're asking is a fair assessment. And it's something to think about. I think what's going on is probably people are getting a little bit more educated on just exactly how fast the ball has to come out. I've been trying to tell people all the time, you don't get 3 seconds, you don't get 4 seconds. That's a very long time. The better teams and the higher levels, that ball, once you hit your back foot, if it's a 3-step drop on your back foot, that ball needs to be out of there. You can't really delay. But one thing I do give Shador more credit for is, one, he stands in the pocket a little bit longer, which it could be good or positive. Sometimes it takes that much time for the routes to develop. And two, I think he can see the field a little bit better than Penix. I think both have comparable arms, but I think Shador can see the field. So a lot of times, even though you got the ball coming out fast, that doesn't always mean that's the right place to go with the ball. So it's a give and take. He's not as mobile. He might hold the ball a little bit longer, but sometimes that creates bigger plays down the field. So I don't think it's a worse thing, or I don't think it's anything worse, but I just think it's just something to be aware of. The more important thing that Washington didn't do and Colorado probably didn't do last year to protect Shador, or to at least slow down the D lineman, Washington didn't really run the ball against Michigan. And I know you say, well, they couldn't. They have to. You have to do it just to slow things down. And I think if Colorado mixes a little bit more run in there, it should help Shador, even with the O-line they got coming in.
So yeah, so that I think that's the point that I've been pushing. It's like, okay, at what point do you get in the game where they're too dominant for you to start running? And that's where I had a question about Colorado, and a lot of fans are pushing back. And in the first quarter, if they score first, now it's way too late for us to start running. And we know, like, you say the run is important. You have to do the run, but then once we get behind, now it's hard for us to run. So at
Okay,
which point do we have to
I push
start
back on
running?
you. I
You
push
know.
back on you with that. I'm gonna push back on you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that's okay? And I know this is. I'm not trying to dig up an old wound.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know Stanford still kept running the ball and came back from 29-0? Do you know Stanford ran the ball more than Colorado did, even though Colorado was up 29-0?
Mm-hmm.
Running the ball is not so much that you're running it. Obviously, everybody would love to run the ball and get 10 yards, 12 yards per carry. But what you want to do is stay away from negative plays and make sure you kind of stay. It's called staying ahead of the sticks,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you want 2nd and 7, this manageable, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2. You don't want 3rd and 10. You don't want 2nd and 15. So you kind of run the ball just to mix it up a little bit. Now, I'm not sitting here saying just to run it, but what I am saying is you're playing chess. You're running the ball to set something up. So if they do that, even when you're down, you still have to run the ball. You know what? You know what Tom Brady's biggest play is in the 2-minute drive when he was coming back? You know, traditionally, everybody knows this. Tom Brady's most important play during his 2-minute drives, and he's had a lot of them win games, was the draw. Think about that. His biggest plays have been the draw. Now, he's thrown the ball further. I'm just talking about it keeps the defense from flying up the field. Because if you just get into a shootout and you just pass the ball, those D linemen aren't even touching the linemen. They just flying up the field and getting to the quarterback. So just giving you a different perspective. Just giving you a different perspective.
Well, I think you qualify what I was saying. What I was saying was I was getting pushback saying we still had to run regardless if we got behind or not. I think we still, because I'm an NFL fan. I'm a fan of the NFL because they make football seem so simple. They run regardless if they're behind or in front. They're still going to run.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So that's why I love the NFL so much, and I've been screaming and screaming. Colorado, you got to run the ball regardless. It doesn't matter at what point you're behind or not. You still got to run because you don't know when that run is going to break. So that's what that's my position, and I just felt like, and I didn't know that Washington's running back was hurt. So that's
he had an ankle injury. He still played. He had an ankle. He wasn't as explosive as he was normally, but I still don't know if he would have made a difference. He might have had a couple more plays. I just think Michigan just gave him too many body blows. And when a boxer and you get to the 10th or 11th round and you've been getting body blowed the whole time, it's easy to knock you out by that time. So I just think they just got body blowed with defense, body blowed with running game, and they just got to a point where they just couldn't stand up no more. And Washington just gave up.
Yeah, I think that's what's. So Phil said he had to jump off because there's some tornado sirens going on in the in Georgia somewhere. So if the people in Georgia, I hope everybody's safe in Georgia. I believe that's where he's at in Georgia. Hope everybody's safe. And so Alfaro, thank you so much for coming on in the last second. So I appreciate you. And Tennis Channel, I appreciate you. Last thoughts, Tennis Channel, and then I'll give it to Alfaro and we are out of here.
Hey, listen, man, I appreciate that analogy you gave with the defense and stuff like that, because that made me see some things in a different perspective. I mean, you weren't saying, what if, and it was a good analogy, and it caused me to say, man, if this was the case, and you compared it with the teams that we where we have to play. Now, you didn't say that was the defense, but they are good defenses, and so how are we going to respond to good defenses? Because we do have very good defenses in our conference, and so whoever we put on that field, they are going to have to respond to that. Security is going to have to respond to those type of things. So I thought that was really, really good, and we have to be able to look at. I don't criticize everything Prime does because he's the coach or what the team did and stuff last year. I'm looking at the possibilities of where, with the information that we have now, where we can go in the future, because that Our future is in front of us. Our future is not behind us. So, but I appreciate you, brother. I
For sure,
appreciate
man. I
that. Good
appreciate you.
stuff. Good stuff.
All right, thank you, man. All right, Afro, your final thoughts on the your final thoughts so we can close
Okay,
out.
I got you. I'm not gonna be long, my brother. So another team I definitely think you guys need to put up there, and you guys might laugh, but I think you need to put Nebraska up there because Nebraska defense was actually okay. And I don't know if they're gonna have as many turnovers they did last year with the quarterback fumbling the ball constantly. Nebraska was a very tough game for Colorado to win. The score doesn't look like it, but if anybody saw that game, that first half, Nebraska was really getting to the quarterback. So that's one thing. And then next, for CU fans, make sure you look out for the creativity in the offense. Hopefully everything's not just straight drop back or bubble screens. They have a good tight end coming from Cincinnati. They have some running backs. If they become a little bit more creative, it should open the game up a little bit more. The only concern that I have is, and this all might fix itself at the end of spring ball, I still don't know how do you get so many transfers in at wide receiver. You have so many people that came here to get the ball, and I don't know how that's gonna impact the locker room. If I'm somebody that transferred here and I'm still not on the field, that's gonna be a problem. That's just gonna be a problem. So I'm not saying it could happen, but it has a potential. There's just too many wide receivers, and hopefully some people leave, so then you can balance out the roster a little bit more. But all you want to look at is see how creative. I guess I guess he's going to be the OC. We don't know. I think we do, but just can he be a little bit more creative and make the game look a little bit more balanced and a little bit more simple?
Right. So, just to push back a little bit on the Nebraska situation, the reason why I wouldn't put Nebraska up there and I'm not putting Colorado up there, I mean, it's simply because we're getting better. If they're getting better, then we're getting better also. And I don't know that they surprise us that much that we need to be worried per se about them. They didn't really surprise us that much, and it's not like we're getting worse. If we weren't bringing in pieces to say, okay, we're getting better in this area, and what we did against y'all is going to be less play, or it's going to be something where we cannot handle y'all, then I would be concerned, and it would be rightfully concerned because I feel like Nebraska is either getting some pieces that are really going to scare me, but I don't care about Ravioli. He's coming from high school, okay? And I'm calling him Ravioli because I don't care about him, okay? I know everybody's fumbling all over him, and he's a great quarterback coming in. But freshman quarterbacks, once they get hit one time by those NFL type DBs that are coming out of that are about to go to the NFL, they get hit one time, they usually adjust quickly. So that's why I'm like, I ain't worried about Nebraska. I think we're getting better, and that's going to be able to answer what you just said as far as how they played us last year. That's how that's just how I feel. Yeah, because we're getting better. So, all right, guys. So that is all I have for today. We did a pretty good job on trying to break it down and give the fan base some type of idea of Colorado football, what we're looking for. We talked about the fact that we're getting that Texas, that Florida A&M, Devin Respris. So hopefully he comes in and answer some of the questions that we still have about our linebackers room and answered our defensive ends and our edge rushers. Hopefully he's able to answer some of those questions quickly because spring is like right around the corner. It is January 12th and March is going to be spring. On my birthday is going to be spring. We only have like a month and a half before we get this thing cracking all over again. So we got to answer some of these questions quickly, and let's hope Devin gets to work right away so that some of these questions can get answered. So I will see you guys on the next one. All right, man. Alfaro, I thank you for coming on, and Willie, I thank you for coming on, guys. You'll have a great weekend.
Good job, Harry.
All right, take care, man. Take care.
Good night. Take care.
All right, guys. So there you have it. We had a great show today. I believe we had a great show because we talk about the things that matter around the Buffs. That's what we talk about. What matters around the Buffs? What are the rooms? What are the adjustments? What are the needs that we need to answer? That's what we talk about here on TLP Live. You got to join us every day. You got to join us when the show is on. So every time the show is on, you have an opportunity to call in. Join TLPlive@gmail.com. You can save that email for next time you want to jump onto the show. All you got to do is email me. I will send you the link, and you can come on. You can add your voice to the show. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. And I hope I didn't really get to understand what was going on with Peter in that chat room. If he was agitating the people in the chat room, Peter, I don't know you. I don't know what the issue is or what the deal is and why people were telling me to cancel you. I don't make a practice of canceling people in the chat unless it's just egregious and I just have to get you out of here because you're just not a good member of what we're trying to do here. But whatever the situation is, hopefully, you come back around and we can, you can enjoy the conversation, add your voice to the conversation. Just be respectful. That's all we ask for. Just be respectful of everybody else's Peter, he's good. So that's all I ask for. I don't cancel people. I don't change people from doing whatever they got to do. But all I'm saying is, as long as you keep it respectful, you're not trying to agitate somebody just for the sake of agitating somebody, and just talk your talk. Go at them. It's sports, and also for everybody else, it is sports. We're having a sports conversation, and people are gonna, they're gonna have a different point of view, and hopefully that different point of view doesn't lead anybody in thinking that somebody should say what they're saying or agree with you in any form or fashion. Nobody should have to agree with you for you to feel like they're a good member of the club. All right. We can all have differences. I can tell you that I don't agree with you. Troll Coach Prime all you want. I don't care about that stuff. As long as it's respectful and it's in good taste, I just want us to have a good time in the chat. So that's all that is. So hopefully, Peter, welcome. If this is your first time, Peter, thank you for joining. And hopefully we keep it respectful next time. All right, guys, that's all I have for you today. I will see you guys on the next show. And you know who I am. I'm Harry B. This is one of the best shows. This is, if not, I would say we are the best show on the internet that covers the bus because we talk about everything and anything. All right. I'm Harry B. And that right there was the Liberian Perspective. That's TLP. Liberian Perspective Sports Club. Brah.